Hey, Casey Ferris here. I make videos on DaVinci Resolve here on YouTube, and today we are talking about doing something cool like this little effect where you drag somebody in and it's like a little transition thing. You see that? Isn't that cool? I feel like it's pretty cool. So it's kind of like a cutout shot that just pushes into the next shot. This is something that's pretty simple to do, and I think best done inside of Fusion. So let's go. The basic idea here is I have my timeline set up, and right before we turn to another shot, I have a duplicate of this piece of video that's put over the shot before it. And we have this cutout that swoops in and then kind of clicks into place. And right as it clicks in, it switches to the other clip. It's a really nice effect, and let's just delete this and we'll make a new one. First thing we have to have is two different shots. I think it works best if there's kind of a close-up shot and then more of a wide shot. Hold down Alt and drag up on this clip to duplicate it. And I'm gonna drag the beginning of the clip out here a little bit, just so we have a little bit of room. And we'll just do something like this. So we have a couple seconds over our other shot. This right here is what we're gonna bring into Fusion. And we can just have the playhead over it and switch into the Fusion page. And one thing that makes this effect cool is speed ramping. Now, speed ramping is always kind of a pain in any program, and it can be a little bit confusing inside of Fusion, but we're gonna take it step by step, don't worry. If I hit Shift and Spacebar, that'll bring up my Select Tool menu. And from here, we can type whatever node we want. So I'm gonna type time, and what I want is Time Stretcher, TST. I'll hit Enter on the keyboard, and that will add a Time Stretcher node. And by default, it messes stuff up a lot. And really all this time stretcher does is tell whatever video you feed into it to play a specific frame to play at a specific time. So if we select that and go up to the inspector here, we can see we have this source time attribute. What we're gonna do is have this freeze frame for a little bit and then kind of ramp into the rest of the clip. So frame 21 should definitely be frame 21 because that's where we're ending. So at frame 21, I'll hit 21, and now it's added a little keyframe here. And now we're gonna want the beginning of this clip to actually start about halfway through, so at frame 11. So instead of starting at frame 2, we're gonna start at frame 2 here on frame 11. So at frame 11, here in the inspector, for source time, I'm gonna hit 2. What that's gonna do is play the entire clip from frame 11 to frame 21. It's gonna be in fast motion. And then before that, we want our beginning frame and this other frame to be 11. So we'll hit 11 like this. At frame 2, we want this to be at frame 2. So now really what's going to happen is this is just going to hold frame 2 until frame 11. And then once it hits frame 11, it's going to play the frames back faster between 11 and 21. There's a bunch of different ways that you can speed ramp and stuff. I find this is pretty easy for the Fusion page. As long as you understand kind of how keyframes work, we're just telling the frames to be at 2 until it gets to 11 and then play all the way to frame 21 between 11 and 21. So it's playing about twice the speed. So now we have just a still and then it ramps up. During this still portion, that's when we're gonna have our cutout. So let's do some noding to get this ready. I'll just zoom into the nodes here so it's a little bit easier to see. Right now we have 3 nodes. Media in just loads our video. Time stretcher does our time remapping here. And media out just renders it out. So what we're gonna do is copy the media in and time stretcher. I'll hit Control C and then double click off and hit Control V so that we have another copy of these. What we're gonna do is mask this media and do our cutout, and then this is gonna be basically our regular video. But let's set up a background first. I'll just grab a background node from the toolbar here, and let's disconnect time stretcher. And now we're just going to have the background attached to the media out. So we have a black screen. We don't actually want a black screen. I'm gonna select background 1 and turn down the alpha, and we're gonna have a transparent screen. Then we gotta merge our time remapped footage over our background like this, and we'll do the same over here, merge it over just like that. So now we have 2 copies of the time remapped footage over a clear background. And what we're gonna do is do our cutout in this one, and then our regular video in this one. So in this merge node, at frame 11, I want this non-masked video to be fully visible. So I'll go over to the blend property here and click on that little keyframe diamond, and then I'll hit left on the keyboard and move 1 frame to the left. So now I'm at frame 10 and turn our blend all the way down. That's just gonna turn on the full video with the background and everything at frame 11. But before that, we're gonna be seeing whatever happens in this video here. So if I blend this all the way down, it's gonna be empty, and then our second video just pops on at frame 11. So the cool thing is, I'll bring this blend back up. If we mask our media in, just by clicking this media in and going to polygon mask. Whatever we do here will happen until frame 11, and then we'll see the entire video. So I'll just add that again, but this time I'm not going to connect it. I'm just going to be over one of our first frames here, and I'm going to draw a really rough shape around our guy like this. And now if I connect the mask to our media in, he's cut out. For this effect to work, it doesn't really need to be that great of a mask because it's so fast and it just kind of works. It's kind of like a paper cutout effect. That's the great thing. I will soften this edge just a little bit, and now we have our little cutout. So now it's going to show this cutout, and then it's going to just play the rest of the video, which is almost what we want. So let's add a little bit of motion to this cutout. We can do that here. I'm going to go to frame 11. This is where we want everything to be normal and kind of match up with this second video here. Let's click on merge one. And this time I'm going to add some animation to this merge. Remember, the merge controls everything about how something goes on top of something else. So if we want to control the size and shape of something, we can totally do that in the merge. So I'll select that merge. And then over here in the inspector, I'm going to add a keyframe to center and size. And all I'm saying is that at frame 11, I want this to be at 0.5, 0.5, and size to be 1. So now we can back up a few frames. Let's say something like that, frame 7. And now I'm going to boost the size up a little bit, just like it's kind of coming closer to camera. And I'm also going to add a keyframe on our center. This is going to make sure that it keeps the same center point. All it's doing is scaling this down. So if I were to page through this, it's just kind of pushing it into the video like that. Then at frame 2, we're just going to bring this off of screen. I'm going to grab the center and just push it off screen. And now it'll animate so that it swooshes in, arrives at that point, and then clicks in like that. So let's see how this works. Yes, it's doing it. And if it looks cool in Fusion like this, it's going to look cool in our other edit. This looks great. And of course, if we wanted to, we could even add motion blur. Just in this merge here, I'll select merge and go over to our inspector under settings, click on motion blur. And that's going to add just a little bit of motion blur to our comp here. I'll up the quality just a little bit, because motion blur always makes things look nice. There we go. And now to put this into our edit, well, it's already in our edit. If we just go to the edit page, here it is. I'll let that cache, and then shoop, there we go. There it is. Isn't that cool? I think this is a great little editing effect. Pretty easy to do. Hey, if you want to learn more about editing, I have a whole bunch of videos on DaVinci Resolve and editing and post-production workflow and all of those kind of things. You should check those out. Yeah, you should. That'd be cool. And you can cut other things out and paste them to other things. Probably things that are less athletic than this, because I don't know if you can get more athletic than working out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?